Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, co-author of Conversations with Top Real Estate Investors Volume 3, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. Welcome to another episode of Munira's Musings. So glad to be here with my guest, Gigi Bisong. She is from, where are you from?
I'm from Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Oh, nice. Okay. And she's going to talk about her God self. Now, I don't know what that means, but I want to find out. Before we dive into this interview, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and what Munira's Musings is about. So I am Munira Zahabi. I am from Chicagoland, and I help people find their niches because everybody's got a niche. They just have to find it. And from your niches, you get to your riches. That's what I say. And it's true if you decide to do the things the right way. And I can help you with that. Munira's Musings is a show that came about when I met extraordinary people do extraordinary things. And I needed to share their message, share them with the world because somebody out there needs somebody like you. If you have a niche and you are impacting people's lives, go ahead and send me a message. We can get you booked on this show. And you know what? Let the world hear what you got to say, because if you've got a niche, somebody else needs it. Let's do this. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for the introduction. Yes, I am living in Minneapolis. I am a mother. I have a son who is 17 years old. And it's an amazing story on the birth of him. I'm an author as well. And so my first book that I wrote was 20 Beautiful Women. I co-authored the book. And in that book, I had a chapter that is titled Miracles, which I believe my life really has lots of miracles in them, as I believe all of our lives do. And I talk a lot about the birth of my son in that chapter. And my story of my business really stemmed from a young age. You know, I had a lot of wisdom as a youth. And so I feel like that is really a part of who I am. You know, it's always opening up to spirits. When I was little, I would push it away, but now it's really just welcoming it in and making it a part of my life. And so that's a really big part of who I am.
So let's talk about your book for a second. That you bring, it's about miracles, and you talk about the son, the birth of the son, right? And a lot of mothers out there who have children who don't always usually think of it as a miracle. So tell us why you think this is a miracle.
Yes, well, I am about to actually turn 40 in September.
No.
So I had my son when I was quite early. So I was 21 years old when I got pregnant, and it's a long story, so I won't go into it now. But it was, you know, his father is from Somalia and was deported, and so there was a lot of like rebirthing. Like even though I birthed this child, there was a lot of rebirthing of myself, which happens to every woman, no matter what age you are or what life stage you're in. You know, it's a new way of being in the world, you know, when you have this being that's looking up at you and asking you to guide it. And I wasn't ready for that. It wasn't planned. It wasn't a planned pregnancy. And so it really started to have me go inward and have me find community, you know, so that was like the birth of me finding sisterhood and really seeing the impact and the power of sisterhood. And I actually wrote an article on Huffington Post titled The Healing Power of Sisterhood. And so that really connected to the birth of my son, you know, because I'm a young mother and I don't feel connected to people my age, because everyone my age was in college, going out, and I wanted women who were also mothers. And so I was able to find community of young mothers who were also connected to their own inner wisdom and found a group of sisterhood in that.
I like that outlook. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
What is it that you do now? You talk about her godly self. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I'm now creating a book called Her God Self. Like it literally came to me through meditation. I was going through a really tough time that one summer had watched a movie. The movie, greatly impacted me. When I say greatly impacted me, I was thrown into like a place of like tears. Like I was crying and felt a lot of pain for weeks.
So let me ask you before you continue, what movie was that?
The movie was Black Klansmen.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've seen it, but
no, I haven't.
Yeah, so I saw the movie, and I believe that it really connected me to the pain that many people are facing in this world right now, and that many people have faced in our world way before my time. Like feeling pains of my ancestors, feeling pain of other women, other individuals on this planet. I don't believe it was just all my own pain. And so, but I wanted to push it away, at first, but then I started to just welcome it and actually have a different relationship with the pain, like listen to it and hear what messages it had for me and, sat with it. And if I needed to cry, allowed myself to feel and cry. And so I did a meditation. I sat, and I had some candles in a circle. And then I had this message of her God self that came to me. And so basically her God self is about, it's mainly for women, but it's open to anyone. And it might even open the title for certain programs for more people. So people don't feel limited just if they don't identify as a her. So they can feel welcome to it as well. But it's about welcoming in that divine part of yourself. There's this part of ourselves in the world where we live in our character, but then there's also the God part of us, like that, the reaching to your higher self.
Do you teach them how to look inwards, or how does this work?
Exactly. You completely nailed it right there. It's really about them looking inward. I just happen to be a guide that's there, but we all have that access. We all have the access, and so it's not coming from me. It's me to guide them to have a relationship with themselves, with their sacred part of themselves. So it's them connecting with that part. And so I guide them through different processes and how to actually do that and how to have a different relationship with who they are.
Do you have people who are scared?
Yes. Yeah, most definitely.
Do they cry?
Yeah, a lot of people do cry and people are scared. People cry. And the reason obviously the tears are coming through is sometimes there's stuck emotion that there's so much that we're doing and so many faces that we have in our world. If it's motherhood, if it's entrepreneur, if it's, you're living in community, and sometimes we don't have time or energy to deal with emotions that are trying to come up. And so we kind of just push them down. And so in this space, those emotions are coming up to the surface. And so they can definitely create a place of like deep tears, and you want to, but that's good. It's like it's releasing. And so,
for those people who don't know what they don't know, what would you advise those people?
People that don't know what they don't know. What I would advise them, to have more of a growth mindset, and not fixed. So obviously, like a growth mindset is if there's more openness, like you're open, you're curious. It's like, oh, what's that? How does that seem? A fixed mindset is, nope, this is how it is. That's how it is. And, they're not willing to like get out of the box. And so the first step is just having a growth mindset and being open to learning, open to receiving, open to change, open to shifting. That's the first thing, is you need to be open. And that's the first thing I always bring in my workshops. When I bullet point like what is going to be expected, I want people who are coming there who are open. If you're not open, it's just not the right space. And it's okay. There's times in our life where we're not open. And, we're growing and we're evolving and we're on our own journey and our own path. But the space of curiosity is the first step.
So this is I'm curious about what this is going on, right? This is something that kind of interests me, but it also scares me. So, there's people out there who are listening who feel the same way. What would you tell me to convert me? I know, spirituality is there, right? We know that. But this is now walking into the unknown. There's so many things that when we look inside, there's compartments that I see of fear. There's a compartment of forgiveness. There's a compartment of happiness. There's a compartment for unhappiness. But most people live in the negative, right? The fear, sad, the unhappiness. And it's true, as we grow, we never put our minds to the positive, right? Like, for example, BC, I'll always remember what you did to me in the negative. Never, oh, she smiled at me. We'll never commend, or we'll never praise somebody who is positive, who is doing their job, who is up on it, right? Compared to somebody who is, oh, how is it that she's so rude to me? And when you're looking inward, you are trying to clear out that negativity space. So if you were to convert me, what would you say?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you mentioning that, because that's a really beautiful point. So I appreciate that. I would say for someone coming from that place, I would remind them that every day in the world, as you walk around, the world is telling you all these false beliefs of who you are. Every single day, being bombarded through media, through your loved ones, through books you're reading, in very subliminal, unconscious ways of who you are, and it's not true. And so coming into a space where you're going inward is actually seeing who you are. And there's actually peace. The things that we're searching for, like peace and happiness and harmony, it's not in the place of the world. And that's why we feel the back and forth, the strain. That means that's because that's not the truth of who you are. It's this mask, it's this illusion, and coming inward is just coming back to your truth. It's like, it's like this deep breath that you want to take. Like living this life, like this push and this pull and trying to be ahead and trying to be validated, and it's exhausting. And it's no wonder there's a lot of pain and a lot of negativity. And we feed that, by constantly talking about it. What we talk about and what we keep breathing in grows, right? Like you're watering it. But in this space, we're watering our truth, our divine truth. And so that's one quick way I would.
That's deep. That's deep. So from start to finish, right? If somebody comes into your program, when do they see the light? When do they understand that? I mean, is there a time frame, or each person is different?
I mean, honestly, it's right away. It's right away. It's in the first day. That's my area of expertise, and I love it. Like, I love creating a program where it really starts somebody from where they're at, and it's this like guided way to coming over here, and it's like an art. And so because of the art, there's this like, this unveiling that's happening. It's like you're removing these layers, these masks that you're wearing like one by one. And so it starts to happen really early on, like literally within the first 2 hours, I would say.
You're saying it happens, and it happens to people right away for all the people that you work with?
All the people that I have worked with have had an experience. When I say they've had an experience, and even youth, I do programming with young people as well. And so I worked with a group of high schoolers last week. And these are, everyday high school kids just coming into class to learn about confidence. And I'm teaching them basically, what I just shared with you. Like, that's true confidence. A lot of times we look at confidence as, oh, am I the one on top? How can I be the one on top so I can be confident? True confidence has nothing to do with being on top or having this happening externally. It's being solid and within yourself. So solid, regardless of whatever else is happening. Like, your worth is not negotiable. No one can take your worth away. And it's really, it's not just understanding it, but it's like having a knowing and like an embodiment of that. And so I was teaching this to young people, and there's these awakenings that are happening. Like, they're like, all of a sudden what happens is you start to see the world differently. That's the first thing that happens. So it's not this major shift where all of a sudden, oh, I'm a totally different person. The first shift is just, wow, I see the world completely differently. Like, wow, this whole time I thought this was how the world was. And it's not even just me telling them, there's a knowing inside them that feels that it is truth.
Okay. How we can find you?
Yes, I do have my website, which is my name, Gigi Bisong. So Gigi Bisong. And so for those that are interested in any of my programming or reading any of my articles, you can subscribe on there. And I do So if you're not quite ready to purchase a program, I do have weekly pieces that I write and weekly audios I send my subscribers. And so you can get a wealth of information that way as well. As you're learning more about me. And if you're interested in the programming, we can definitely connect that way. And it's all on my website, gigibisong.com.
So if you are interested in learning more about what Gigi is doing, go ahead and sign up on her page, gigibisong.com, and see what she has to offer, because this is a subject that's coming up a lot, and it's really affecting people. Because Gigi, thank you so much for being on my show. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for shedding so much light on this. For those of you who are watching, if you like what we have to say, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, because we like what you have to say. Give us your comments, compliments, whatever, because we want to expand this to the world. We want to share our messages to the world, and we want to promote and expose and promote guests from my show, because we want people to learn more about what's out there, what other coaches are doing, and how you can get help, or how you can connect other people to what they are doing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group,